proper planning goes a long way in building gardens, and I seem to have not done so. Now, it's a lot of fun to just wing it and see what happens, whether it's just for the adventure or trying to save a little bit of money or hoping for the best. But I've got several conundrums on my hands now. So I did not plan on building more beds this year purely because I didn't want to spend the money. I thought I could get away with cutting pipe for my sunflowers to protect them from the weed whacker. Well, it turns out that's not as easy as I'd hoped. Just cutting all this pipe has been quite a chore, and the couple times I've tried weed whacking around all the flowers so far has been not nearly as easy as I had hoped. So I said, okay, I'm gonna bite the bullet and just build more beds in the yard, because I've probably spent about the same amount of money on the pipe and landscape staples and whatnot, trying to go that route, only for it to not work out nearly as well as I would have liked. But now that I'm building beds, as you can see, that one already has a bunch of flowers planted in it, so I'm not even really going to be able to fill it with soil anytime soon. I'm hoping that once the flowers get bigger, I might be able to fill around them, but we'll see. In the meantime, I guess I'm just gonna have to deal with the grass still growing in there, and hopefully my weed whacking skills improve. Then the other problem is this row is outside of the bed, which I knew was gonna happen when I measured out how I was gonna build these. But then for this next bed that I'm putting in here, I'm not really sure how to space it between them. I want to make it just wide enough to be able to fit the mower in between through the walkway, but I didn't even plant these flowers in a straight line. So do I make it just a little more than 2 feet in between the beds like I wanted, just wide enough for the mower to fit, and not be able to mow it this year and just have to fight with the grass and more weed whacking? Or do I make it almost 3 feet out, which is way wider than I want it, just so I can be able to fit the mower between this widest sunflower planting here? I think what I'm going to do, just for future proofing, is snug it up to the 2 feet that I want, and I'll just have to deal with it for this year, because ideally then, for years to come afterwards, I'm not going to have sunflowers planted in the walkway. That would be silly. Why would I do such a thing? So I'll just have to deal with it. Other than that, you wouldn't know it, but I've got over 100 sunflowers planted so far. They're not all in shot right here. There's some over on the other side of the bed, and I'm counting the few volunteers that are in the bed too. But I've also got 84 more seedlings starting to sprout in the greenhouse, and those aren't quite ready to go yet, but I'm still going to start even more seedlings today, just because I took a week off of work to do this. So I want to make the best use of my time. I'm also not sure what I'm going to put in this bed just yet, but I do know that I want to get cardboard down on the grass this week and get it filled with dirt, so that it's at least ready for whenever I do figure it out. This bed, however, has plenty of room yet. You can see there's a huge gap on this side that can still be filled, as well as the middle, and I can probably squeeze some in between those rows down there too. They'll be a little tight, but I'm sure they'll do just fine. If I do use that bed for sunflowers, which at the rate that I'm starting seedlings is pretty likely that that's what's going to happen, then again, lack of planning, because all of these flowers are going to be blocking a ton of light from the vegetable bed. I can't really do anything about that at this point. The vegetables are already planted in here, and I'm still probably going to try to plant some more, just because things could be a little tighter. So for example, I could use a lot more lettuces in here. It's actually looking pretty sparse, but hopefully next year I'll have learned my lesson, because ideally sunflowers would be in the back. That way is south. But we'll see what happens this year. I'm sure everything will turn out just fine. All of the vegetables are doing moderately okay so far, though I am going through a lot of slug bait. And I've also been running into some blossom end rot on these early peppers. I've actually gotten rid of a few peppers so far, and this one, it's really disappointing because it looks like a nice pepper, but that end is rotting. But hey, this is also my first time growing peppers, so all I can do is learn from it.